Hello everyone. Today we will witness an unexpected story. Jack, who just won $1 million contract, almost lost everything because of a fatal mistake. Meanwhile, Tu Qian, the woman by his side, still quietly sells baskets of vegetables in the countryside market. Hoping to change his life from a small garden. Behind the halo are tears, sleepless nights and decisions that make viewers suffocate. Jack, a young man who started his business from scratch, unexpectedly won a multi-million-dollar construction project, thinking his dream had come true. But soon after, a series of serious mistakes and unexpected troubles pushed him into a life-threatening situation. Will Jack overcome it or will he lose everything? The dramatic story begins here. Right after signing the winning contract, Jack entered the project with high expectations, but after only a week, he encountered his first shock. The design drawings provided by the partner had many errors. If constructed according to them, it would lead to structural deviations. This caused the entire progress to stagnate. Jack was forced to call an urgent meeting with the architect and supervising engineer. But the person in charge asked for leave for personal reasons. Before he could react, he received news that the construction steel he had ordered in advance had increased in price by nearly 20%, and the supplier was hesitant to deliver on time. Some people in the team began to panic. Some secretly looked for a way to retreat. In the midst of the crisis, a fatal mistake occurred. The construction worker accidentally collapsed a section of the concrete wall that was not strong enough, causing severe damage and hundreds of millions of dong in losses. Jack fell into crisis. He sat in a daze in the middle of the dusty construction site, his mind spinning with negative numbers in the books. There were times when he wanted to give up, let go of everything, but then when he looked back at the old photo in his wallet, where he and Tu Qian had taken a photo, he clenched his fists. "We can't stop here," Jack muttered. That very night, he began to replan his strategy, cut unnecessary expenses, change suppliers, personally supervise each construction team, and especially, he called Tu Qian. "Honey, I'm in big trouble, but I don't need you to solve it. I just need you to believe that I'm strong enough to stand firm." Tu Qian didn't say much, just quietly went to the construction site the next day, carrying 2 lunchboxes and an umbrella. Under the blazing sun, she sat with Jack among the tangled scaffolding, giving him not only energy, but also the faith to move forward. And then, from those darkest days, the fire of courage in Jack began to flare up strongly. In the following days, Jack was no longer a project manager sitting in the office directing from afar. He wore a reflective vest, a hard hat, and directly followed the construction site from early morning to late at night. He immediately corrected every wrong position, every worker who was negligent. His shoes were covered with mortar dust. His arms were sunburned, but Jack's eyes became more and more determined. He decided to change his financial plan, sell the only car he had to rotate money to buy materials, and at the same time renegotiate with the supplier to split the payment. With no way back, Jack forced himself to be tough, even eliminating those who were not dedicated enough from the team. He recruited more construction interns, both saving costs and taking advantage of youth and progress. More importantly, Jack held a meeting for all workers, not to scold, but to share. He stood in front of more than 30 people, his voice warm but determined. "I don't promise to make everyone rich, but I guarantee, if we go to the end, every penny of your efforts will be paid properly, and this project will be the pride of all of us." For the first time, the applause did not come from politeness, but from faith. From that day on, the whole construction site changed. The technical team worked more closely. The workers voluntarily worked overtime without being asked. In the evenings, Jack still stayed up until 2 to 3 a.m. to redraw the progress, check each expense, and send emails to partners in broken but full of effort English. After only 1 month, the project regained momentum. The foundation was poured correctly. The progress reached nearly 80%. A media unit was surprised to learn about Jack's story of rising from near bankruptcy. They came to film a report and broadcast it on the local station. The image of a young man with bare hands in the middle of the construction site, shouting orders and wiping sweat with his sleeves, moved thousands of people. Other investors began to pay attention to the name, Jack, the one who dares to take on and stand up from the rubble. The million-dollar project that seemed to be in ruins is now gradually taking shape. Solid with each concrete block and beam. But more importantly, from the rubble and pressure, Jack not only built the project, but also rebuilt himself, brave, resilient and not defeated by fate. While Jack was fighting at the construction site with concrete, steel and stressful numbers, Tu Qian quietly continued her familiar work, harvesting agricultural products. Every early morning, she wore a conical hat, carried a basket, and walked along each row of vegetables to pull cabbage, cut squash, and pick eggplants, even though her hands were dirty and her shirt was soaked with sweat. Her eyes always shone with simple joy. On an old motorbike, she transported vegetables to the village market. Many times, she was criticized for having higher prices than in the market, and many people shook their heads and left. But Tu Qian was not discouraged. She still persistently explained to each customer, "These vegetables are not treated with pesticides, chemical fertilizers, only watered with well water and organic fertilizer made from banana peels, bean dregs." Gradually, her honesty and enthusiasm won over buyers. Young mothers with small children and elderly vegetarians began to come to Tu Qian's small stall. They not only bought vegetables, but also stayed to chat, listening to her share how to prepare the soil, how to treat worms with garlic and ginger. At night, when Jack was exhausted and fast asleep, Tu Qian still sat quietly at the wooden table, drawing up plans to expand the garden, adding a trellis for squash, planting turmeric, and opening a free class to teach clean vegetable growing for the children in the neighborhood. In her heart, there was a smoldering dream. One day, clean agricultural products from this poor countryside would appear in supermarkets, on the dining tables of urban families. It didn't need to be too big, just clean enough, real enough, and loving enough. And the most wonderful thing was, even though each person had their own direction, their own battlefield, Jack and Tu Qian always silently walked side by side, like two streams flowing into the same ocean.